Hi folks, it's Phil from Clearwater Airsoft here, and as you can see before me, I have a lovely selection of suppressors and some of the accessories that go with them. So full disclosure, I have been sent these over the last few months by PTS, who have been a long-time supporter of Clearwater Airsoft, so thank you very much to them for sending me these samples to review and have a play with. Some I've had for a long time, some are quite new into the collection. But if we start from left to right, we have the Dead Air Mask HD, which is in real life a 2.2 suppressor. Then we have the two Sandman K suppressors, which are up to 7.62mm. We have the standard black, and then we have the latest edition, which is this really funky training blue one, which is all the rage at the moment. Then we have the Griffin Armament, R22, the Griffin Armament GP5 direct mount suppressor, the rather monstrous Dead Air Wolverine, which, as you can guess from this, is an AK suppressor. And last but by no means least, we have probably my favourite one, I think, actually. It's the MS2 M4 Griffin Armament suppressor for the venerable M4 carbine. So let's have a little delve a bit deeper. So again, starting from left, the mask is a very dinky little suppressor. You can see easily the smallest one here. It's got a really nice end cap. The detailing on it is really nice. You've got these flutes on it, and then you've got the Dead Air, don't know if it's going to actually focus, trademarks there saying Mask HD. And it does come, because I use this on my pistols, it does come with this little adapter which threads into the bottom. You can thread it directly onto a threaded barrel, or you can use this adapter which just gives it that little bit of standoff from the slide and the dust cover on your pistol, and I find that works really well. I use this on my OZ9, which has got a threaded barrel insert, so you know it just screws onto the threaded insert into the muzzle, and then you've got that nice standoff. Because it's such a small suppressor, it looks really good on the pistol, but it doesn't. It weighs virtually nothing, so it doesn't interfere with the cycling or the action of the pistol in any way, shape or form. So that's the Mask HD. Next up, let's go with a Griffin Armament one. So this is the GP5. Let me make sure I got it the right way up. There we go. So again, it doesn't have a huge amount in the way of trademarks on it, very understated. But the beauty of this can is that, like the real steel, it will thread directly onto a 14mm negative thread. So you don't have to have any specific or fancy flash hiders to mount the suppressor, as long as you've got a negative 14mm thread, and then you just tighten the grip screw up to hold it in place. And this comes in two versions, so you can have the tracer version, or you can have the one with baffles in. And this one has got a tracer unit in, buried right down there in the bottom. And the tracer units that PTS supply are actually really, really good. So you can have them so that they're permanently on. You can have them so that you can change the strobe length, the strobe duration. You can change all sorts of different parameters on it and how it functions, like whether the first shot activates it and then it goes off after a few minutes, save battery life. But they're really good. I like them, even though I don't tend to use tracer rounds for the simulated flash, which is great on the next one that I'll show you, which is the K, Sandman Dead Air Sandman K. So again, we've got the PTS trades there, and then the Sandman trademarks are just at the end there. So this one does require a specific flash hider, and it's a ratchet type. You put it over. So here's one of the flash hiders that it can go on. Slides over the flash hider. You give it a little twist round, and then you ratchet the suppressor, and then that tightens up. And this one comes with this really cool end cap, so that you can have this thick polycarb lens, and that will give you the simulated flash. So again, you can just see the tracer in there. I really like this one. It doesn't weigh too much. I use this on my gas blowbacks. But it does also come with, in black, this end cap that you get on the funky blue training Sandman K. So you can run it purely as a tracer. You can run it with the little baffles that PTS supply, or you can run it with a tracer and this end cap, so you get that flash effect, which is, I think, especially with gas guns inside, it's great. It sort of lights it up like a bit of a muzzle blast, and it just makes me giggle. So it doesn't have any real purpose other than that. So that's Sandman K. It's really nice. Once it's on, it's really locked on solid, but it's really easy to just, you know, undo the ratchet mechanism, take it off. So the Sandman K training is really sort of building on that with the current sort of trend towards having lots of suppressors copied in training versions. So you can get the training blue. I've seen them in quite a few Surefire cans that Airsoft Artisan do, and this is PTS's foray into it. So you get these end cap. Again, it comes off easily, and you can put a tracer in there if you want to, or you can put the baffles in. So it depends how you want to run it, really. Like the standard Sandman, it comes in 3 lengths. I think this is the medium length, so there is a shorter one and a longer one. But it's a nice, fairly compact can, on a par size-wise with a Surefire RC2. But if you're after something that looks slightly different aesthetic, then certainly give that a look. The next one we're going to look at is the Griffin Armament R22. This is a really interesting one, actually, because again, you can put a tracer in here. I think I've got baffles in this one, which, oh God, that's quite, tightened that up really well last night. So again, you can do that. But the great thing about this is how modular it is. So you can see it you need a specific flash hider, which has got these threads on. And then it just threads straight onto that, and you just tighten it down. But you can also remove this back section, take that off, which is your flash hider adapter. You can get this little piece, screw that onto the body, and I've used this as well on my OZ9. This will thread now onto a pistol threaded barrel, and you've got a much more compact, but still it still cycles. It's not a heavy piece at all, especially with baffles in and no tracer in it. It's really quite lightweight. But that will double up as a pistol suppressor by shortening it, removing the specific adapter for the flash hider, and running it with this adapter so it can thread straight on. Next up, let's go to this behemoth. So this is one of the latest releases. This is actually really nice, and I did run it on my SR25 or M110 for a bit. And this is the latest offering. So you can just see there, you got the star for the Wolverine PBS1. Anybody who's familiar with AKs is going to be familiar with this. So you've got the nice end cap there. And again, like most of the PTS suppressors, you can whack a tracer unit in this, and this one's got the tracer in. It's a really nice thing. So this will thread directly onto a 14mm negative thread. And one of the great things about it is if you back this collar off here, once you've threaded this on and tightened it up, you can then just back it up and move this round so you've got your trademarks where you want them. You can tighten that up. You can have them on the side, on the top, on the bottom, on the other side. So you can tighten it all up and get that aesthetic that you're looking for. Like a lot of the PTS suppressors, this is really modular. And in these boxes here, we have 2 of the accessories. So I know quite a few AKs have the much larger muzzles, but PTS have got you covered there with an insert that will go straight onto 24mm threads, So you've got that sorted, and it comes with all the bits that you need to do that, including a little insert in there as well for the BBs to pass through. And if you have muzzle devices like this, which the Sandman K uses and the other Sandman suppressors, you can also use the Wolverine on it, because they do this really nice adapter with the chemo ratchet system, but the base is the same as here. So it does make the suppressor even bigger, but as you can see, you know, it's seconds of work to change it, and now you can run your suppressor on multiple guns, I guess, if you've got a few with the same style of flash hider on. This is the little short one, but I really like these flash hiders. I think they look really good. And that is the Wolverine system. It's quite heavy, this one. I wouldn't want to run this on anything that's got a weak barrel, for sure. And if it's already quite long, this is going to add a good few inches onto your muzzle. So just be warned, if you're running around the bushes and you've got this on the gun, not to smack it on anything. But like all of the PTS products, the machining that goes into them, the quality of the finish, the replication of the trademarks, it's all spot on. All of the PTS products that I've had, and I've bought just as many as I've been given, and that's the reason why I buy them and why I continue to work with PTS, is because their products are just generally really, really well executed. The finish is always good, the machining is excellent, they work really, really hardly with their partners when they license products to make sure that they are up to a standard where said company, whether it be mounts like Unity or suppressors like this, are happy to have their trademarks put onto an airsoft product. I think that says quite a lot about, you know, the lengths that PTS will go to make a good product. And last but by no means least, and I really like this because I've just finished building my little CQB Mark 18 Mod 0 Gulf Global War on Terror M4 carbine, and I couldn't find an NT4 suppressor anywhere at reasonable money. And then PTS sent me this. It turned up, and I thought, you know what? It's not an exact replica, it's not period correct, but it's close enough, and it mounts in a very similar way. So this will mount onto any A2 style flash hider, and you just push back this little flange here, and then you pull this up. Anybody who's used an NT4 suppressor or is familiar with like a lot of the Knights Armaments ones will be used to this mechanism. You just push it down over, and then it engages on the flats of the flash hider. You do get a little washer with this as well that you can put behind the flash hider on your barrel, and that stops you over inserting the muzzle into the suppressor. And you've got a really nice end cap on this. I think it just looks really nice. Very reminiscent of the newer style Knights Armament suppressors that you see, the PRT, sort of the flow through cans. And again, you can unscrew the cap. You can just tell the quality of it from that, and I think this is going to not spring out. So you can see there what the baffles sort of look like. So you take these out, put a tracer unit in, or you can run it with these. They don't really make a huge amount of difference to the sound, but they just fill it up so that you do get some deadening and it doesn't act like an echo chamber. Yeah, so this is the Griffin Armaments MS2. I always get the name wrong on it, but it's a really nicely done, really well finished suppressor. There you go, M4 SD2 it says there, really small writing. Don't know if you can see, yeah, you should be able to see it there. M4 SD2. So it's the second iteration. Another one I've got, but I haven't got it to hand, that they did was a sort of smaller version. It's about half the length, maybe a little bit less of this, that's open more at the muzzle end. And it's more of a blast device like the Surefire Warden rather than a suppressor, but it uses the same mechanism to mount onto an A2 flash hider, birdcage flash hider, and it has the same patterns on the side of its body as well. So there we go, folks. Which is your favourite? Would you go Griffin, or are you going to go Dead Air, or are you going to go AK, or are you going to go AR? What suppressors would you use? Do you use them on your airsoft replicas? Drop a like and subscribe if you haven't already, and put your comments below, and look forward to seeing you on the next video. Thanks very much. Bye bye.